injured here. 1v1 Calderis Refinery blue side. Tex plays a Chaos Sorcerer offensive and disruptive commander that uses spells. Fights made to start off. And SuperPaul up against as a Raven Alpha. Good mobility with these tunnels. Fights range to start off. Has some good offense as well. Chaos Space Marines for Tex, most likely into another Heretic squad. Yes, and SuperPaul with double Termagants. Looks like he's going to push up the eastern flank with those Hormagaunts, and they are most likely going to run into these Heretics, which will do the same. Chaos Sorcerer now coming mid, as is the Raven Alpha. Termagants capping the VP, and these guys following the Hormagaunts. Raven Alpha getting a couple of shots off. Tex will now try and get him into melee or otherwise hold him up. And here come Termagants. We're going to see a Doom Bolt, so I think. There's the attempts, and it's short. Completely misses all of those Termagants. That thing could be so dangerous in first engagements though. Hormagaunts now going after these Heretics. Heretics don't want to fight Hormagaunts and Termagants without their aspiring champions, certainly. And they've caught them. There's a Doom Blast, and he uses it to escape. 500, 488, a very early VP lead for Tex. Raven Alpha using melee on these Heretics. Doesn't want to be in that fight. Termagants being chased down by the Chaos Sorcerer. Bolt Pistol getting shots off. Can he get a model? There's one. Heretics down to 5 models. Well, almost took down that Raven Alpha. Down to 100 hit points. 500, 488. Chaos Space Marines meanwhile capping up the west side. SuperPaul has the east and is now bashing this power node early on. Termagants and Hormagaunts. These guys have their toxin sacks. Boosts their damage and health and gives them crippling poison. Fantastic ability, crippling this Chaos Sorcerer here. Hormagaunts will finish the node bash. But now Heretics in amongst them. There's a Doom Blast and they get another model off them. Doom Bolts in retreat as well. 2-to-1 cap for Tex. SuperPaul back at base, reinforcing and stuff. And Chaos Space Marines bashing power with their bolters, which does take a while. And here is SuperPaul to defend Heretics. Need to be very careful here, down to 4 models taking range fire. Are we going to see an aspiring champion and grenade launchers? Raven Alpha now tying up these Chaos Space Marines, nicely done. And here we see some Zinch worship. Tex keeping these Heretics in play. SuperPaul needs to pressure them, but he's not, he's backing off. 2-to-1 cap for Tex. Chaos Space Marines now with bolter fire. This Zinch worship will give them that 20% range damage reduction when they are partially revealed. Here come Hormagaunts. SuperPaul really should have pressured these Heretics with his Raven Alpha, I think, but he does have a Warrior Brood on the field and some Spore Mines. Warrior Brood are heavy infantry that emit a basic synapse. Start off as melee units, they can leap into melee combat, so some good disruption there if you can get them into melee. Look at this, very, very sneaky tunnel in the northeast corner by SuperPaul, nicely done. Tex will take down this one he's spotted here. Heretics have an aspiring champion. There's another Doom Bolts. Survives without a model loss. Eventually takes down a tunnel. Tex might be suspecting that there's one up here. Another Doom Bolts. Ouch, that was devastating. Almost wiped the Termagants. Levels the Chaos Sorcerer. That was crazy. Sacrificed a Heretic to get his energy back. Fires off another Doom Bolts. And absolutely crazy damage. 487, 435. Tex going straight to tier 2 here. Ravenous now for SuperPaul. Hormagaunts again bashing power. And they have paid for a member that they haven't got here. Ouch. Another nasty Doom Bolts. These guys need to be very careful. Tex might get another model in retreat and does. Here come Warrior Brood in amongst Heretics. Can he wipe them? Very close and does. The leap wiped them. Nicely done by SuperPaul. That makes for a good tier 1, sorry. Tech's going tier 2 with just Heretics and Chaos Space Marines. Warrior Brood out, losing a member though, that's not good. Termagants in melee with the Aspiring Champion Heretics. SuperPaul just losing sight of these guys and is forced off. Has some decent map and is using this tunnel to harass power yet again. Has Raveners, they are getting their Devour, will give them a ranged weapon. They can also borrow strike to disrupt infantry. So I guess we are going to see the Corrosive Devourer in tier 2. From the Raven Alpha, gives him a really nice plasma weapon and a soft vehicle counter as well. Tex has now spotted this tunnel. Hormagaunts getting out of it, as are Termagants and Warriors. Nicely done. Getting his Warriors back into the field with 2 models to win that engagement. 4-3-1, 4-3-5. Pressure on his power again. A single cap for SuperPaul and Bloodletters on the way for Tex. Look at the contrasts. SuperPaul with a very, very heavy tier 1. Chaos Space Marine still on the field with 2 members, and here are the Bloodletters, demon infantry that can teleport into combat. Very, very dangerous power melee damage. Will be very bad news for those Warriors if they can isolate them. And that tunnel is still up. 4-10, 4-3-5. It's a single cap for SuperPaul. No sign of him going tier 2 just yet. Another tunnel going up from the Ravener Alpha. Bloodletters teleporting in. No Termagants there to cripple them. Hormagaunts trying to harass them as they chase the Warrior Brood. They can passively teleport short distances. Doesn't look like we're going to see. There we see one. And now they use Warp Shift to phase out and avoid all damage there, so they can back off these Hormagaunts who are still chasing. And they take down one of the Bloodletters. There's a Doom Bolts. Bloodletters turn to engage, and now we see some Tzeentch worship. They've lost a model though, and some more Bloodletters from Tex. SuperPaul will need to manage these Termagants very, very well to deal with double Bloodletters. Now in amongst these Termagants, that Doom Bolts have been so dangerous. Here comes some Raveners and the Raven Alpha. Raven Alpha not engaging here though. Now he is. These guys are under Tzeentch worship. Another Doom Bolt's going in, and Chaos Space Marines there as well. Bad engagement for SuperPaul. Did not lose a Ravener though, that was not bad. There's Crippling Poison on these Bloodletters. Can he get another model? I don't think so. Now under Tzeentch worship again. And in amongst the Ravener, and look at the damage they did to the Raven Alpha. And that was just 3 models. 392, 435. Still, this tunnel is here from SuperPaul. And he's using it again. Warrior Brood and Hormagaunts going to pressure power. Yet again, there's nothing to pressure. They can decap this node. Double gens up for SuperPaul, and he's guarding it with these spore mines. Nice idea. 392, 428. Now a Tzeentch Shrine going up. Will spit out Doom Bolts. Also gives a 10% damage reduction. Double Termagants for Toxin Sacks. And here is the Raven Alpha. No war gear for this guy yet. Might want to get the damage synapse. When he hits tier 2, he's just going now. Bloodletters phasing out. Might want to disrupt with the Raveners, but he's using them to focus fire at the moment. Warriors are forced to retreat. But here we have some Tzeentch worship with his double Bloodletters, and this is very, very dangerous. Needs to pressure the Heretics when he sees that the Bloodletters are under worship, I think. Raveners burrowing a very, very short distance there, but do get away again without a loss, do they? Some more Tzeentch worship. Bloodletters did lose 2 models. And he's still putting pressure on his Chaos Space Marines as well. They do have an Aspiring Champion, but they're forced off. Bloodletters teleporting, and Warrior Brood back into the fray. Getting special attacks on those Bloodletters, but this is a very, very risky engagement. Going up against double Bloodletters, and they lose another model. Is he going to finally take down this tunnel? Is he unable to or something? 392, 377, a 2-to on cap for Tex. Now has some Havocs. Setup team that's suppressed with a heavy bolter by default. They can change that weapon in tier 2 though. Crippling poison again. There's a Doom Bolts. Chaos Sorcerer taking tons of damage. Needs to retreat. Doesn't have any war gear. Level 3. Ravenous Burrow. Disrupting the Bloodletters. Bloodletters now isolated from heretic worship. And all of a sudden taking tons of damage. Something leveled up. Bloodletters are going to get whacked, and they do whack. Hormagot's now level 2. Termagant still level 1. Everything else still level 1. Raven Alpha level 2. Nice pressure from SuperPaul. Tex seems unable to target this tunnel or something. He still hasn't taken it down. SuperPaul with some Gene Stealers, so we might see Robes of Torment from the Chaos Sorcerer to counter the dangerous melee squads. Gene Stealers under melee synapse are nasty. Havocs catching these Termagants here. Now catching the Hormagaunts. Raveners, are they going to jump them? Perhaps not. Chaos Space Marines here in cover. That's heavy cover as well, with Eternal War and an aspiring champion forcing off the rest of the Tyranids. Lots and lots of pressure on Tex's power here, and again SuperPaul using this tunnel and pushing the east side. Here comes some Bloodletters. Some more Chaos Space Marines on the field for Tex. Chaos Sorcerer level 3. Here we see the Gene Stealers under melee synapse with 1732 hit points. Havocs being used proactively by Tex. But here's a Capillary Tower to disrupt them. Termagants and Hormagaunts need to be very careful. Termagants now in retreat. But the Havocs caught by the Gene Stealers and absolutely owned. Good grief. Using Adrenal Rush and taking them out very, very quickly there. Tex has quite a lot of red. Some more Dark Flames maybe. Look at all these tunnels on the east side by SuperPaul. Tex neglecting to take them out. Spore Mine still guarding his power here. This time not using the tunnels. He's gonna go after Tex head on. Raveners, the Raven Alpha, which still has no war gear. Hormagaunts running into a whole lot of trouble. Cannot see all of this stuff. Raveners Burrow striking is going to lose those Hormagaunts though. They were trying to decap there. Here come Gene Stealers under melee synapse. Termagants as well. And those Bloodletters need to be very careful. They do have some Tzeentch worship here, and they are now phased out. More Havocs on the field for Tex. 392, 260. A 2-to on cap for Tex. Huge engagement here. There's a Capillary Tower, which will give a buff to these Tyranid units. Warriors overextending though here. Bloodletters in amongst them. How have they not lost a model yet? 3 models with 120 hit points. Finally they lose a model and another. Bloodletters not teleporting after them though. These are Circle of Summoning Bloodletters. Gene Stealers with Adrenal Rush going after Heretics, with 4 models remaining. 392, 235. And a 2-to on cap still for Tex. 2 Capillary Towers in mid. There's another Doom Bolts. Sorcerer hits level 4. Raven Alpha is down. Absolutely no Commander War Gear in this game so far. Tex still very power starved. Plus 15 income. All he has is a PowerPoint. Has lots and lots of requisition though. Havoc's back in play. Doom Bolts again. And SuperPaul forced off mid. Now has quite the VP deficit to make up almost 200. He really has starved Tex off power. But the rest of his map control has suffered as a result. SuperPaul might go tier 3 here. Would be a risk though, he doesn't have a lot left, does he? Double Raveners, I think he cooled down one of those Raveners to reinforce stuff in mid. Still has those Spawn Mines and has Termagants. Lost the Warriors, lost the Gene Stealers, lost the Hormagaunts. Now has some more Warriors on the way. And those couple of very bad engagements have really hurt SuperPaul here. 2-to-1 cap for Tex. Here come Bloodletters. Termagants don't want to fight them. Will turn and get some shots off. Tex not pressuring SuperPaul's power at all. And here comes Spawn Mines. More Zinch worship. 392, 171. Still that 2-to-1 cap. SuperPaul needs to make a move here. Spawn Mines trying to make a nuisance of themselves, but I don't think they even detonated there. I think SuperPaul is wary of getting Zone Throat because of the Bloodletters that are there. Maybe some Tyrant Guards. He's using the tunnels again now. Tyrant Guard of course cannot use tunnels, which is a big drawback for them. He needs to rely on this range damage, and there is a Barbed Strangler to shut down these Chaos Space Marines. And Tex retreats them. These guys are level 3, other squad level 2. Some more Zinch worship. Havocs will reface. But Burrow Strike gets them. Now need to force melee on those Havocs, or they'll just set up again. And there we do see Robes of Torment. Barbed Strangle Warrior is now caught in melee by Bloodletters. He just got out of position there. 392, 128. And again SuperPaul is forced off. Tex now has some generators up finally. Still these tunnels on this east side. And a Tyrant Guard is on the way for SuperPaul. I'm really liking Tyrant Guard in their current state. Nice splash damage. Very tough. Can break lines with their charge. This is going to be a last hurrah though for SuperPaul. Tex now starting to put the pressure on, bringing his Havocs up. Chaos Space Marines back on the field at level 3. Very nearly level 4 as well. And a Blood Crusher on the way for Tex. Just to be able to quickly put some melee pressure on. And there's the double cap. He might get a triple. No, he stops the cap. SuperPaul really up against it. Needs this next engagement to go very well. Probably needs to win every engagement to have a chance. Here is the Tyrant Guard. Super heavy infantry. Can go into shield wall mode, which heals it and gives it vehicle armor. You see it's got some decent speed here because it's under Synapse. 392, 69. If it loses that Synapse, it very much becomes very vulnerable, very slow, and those Bloodletters will cut it up with their power melee. Double cap steal for Tex. SuperPaul now coming mid. Tyrant Guard cannot be suppressed, so can tie up those Havocs. It's going after the Zinch Shrine though. There's Doom Bolts, Warrior Brood forced off, some more Raveners, Burrow striking in. Don't want to get into a fight with Bloodletters though, and here is the Blood Crusher. 392, 23, too much for SuperPaul to deal with. Does take down the Shrine though. Blood Crusher now going after the Tyrant Guard. Tyrant Guard will take down the Blood Crusher, but not under Worship, I don't think. And there is the GG from Tex, double cap, and he wins it. Lots and lots of good pressure early on that power by SuperPaul, but just lost sight of the rest of the map and had a couple of very bad engagements. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.